So, hey everyone, that's my foot. I thought it may be a great idea to show you guys how to do your own toenails. So, we're basically going to be, again, in this situation where we're not going to be able to get to a nail tech, and I can't even get to my nail tech to get my toenails done. That's one little luxury that I allow myself, even though I am a nail tech. I have one of my great friends in the industry. She does my nails for me, my toenails for me, and I can't get there. So I'm going to show you how to do your own toenails. Now, the first thing that it's going to be a little bit awkward shooting from this, and because I'm doing myself. Obviously, if I didn't have a camera in the way, it'd be a bit easier. But what I'm going to do is start filing just the surface shine off my nails, because I'm going to soak these off. So I just want to remove that surface shine. So if you've watched any of my other tutorials, you would have seen that I've done the same thing with fingers. So it's the same thing, soaking off on your hands. So I'm breaking the seal of the top coat, which will then allow me, or allow the product, to be able to penetrate and soak through and help me get this off nice and easy. So I just file each and every one of them. They're desperately in need of doing. So this is going to be nice, having nice fresh toes. For my toenails, the only difference is I am using the more coarse side. So you can, toenails are generally a thicker nail, so unless you've got very thin toenails, then use the other side. But just maneuver myself around. But generally you can use the more coarse side. It'll just help you break through that seal quicker. So the idea is we want to remove that surface shine. And I've got my foot propped up on a chair and I'm sitting on another chair. The only problem with this chair is it's a swivel chair. So I've got to make sure I've got control of my chair as I'm doing this. That was a shiny bit that I missed. So what you've got to do is basically have a look, make sure you don't miss any shiny bits, so that you know that you've well and truly broken that top seal. Okay, so that's done. So the next step is to grab some foil, which is normal kitchen aluminium foil, and we're going to be using Soak It, okay, and Wipe It pads, which I've got in a convenient little container here. So I'm going to grab a piece of foil. Again, it's a bit awkward with your toes. This time I'm actually going to just get that ready. And I'll fold this up into a little square. And then I'm going to just fully soak that pad so that it's quite damp. And I want to wrap my toe up nice and tight so that no air gets in. It's really important that no air gets in, because the air will basically dehydrate the solution and it will become ineffective. So you got to try and squeeze in there. Toes are a little bit more awkward, but just get in there and really squeeze it shut so that there's no gaps. Okay, I'm done. Come in underneath first. Try and grab one. So I'll pause this in a sec and fast track it, because I'm sure you don't need to see me do this on every nail. I think you've got the gist of it now. So once I've done all my toes, as in wrap them, then I'm going to leave them for 10 minutes. Okay, so allow a good 10 minutes, and then you can come back and unwrap the first one that you did, which I'll take you through when I get to that. So I'll keep going with this, and you've got time to go and make a coffee while I'm paused, and I'll be back when this is ready to remove. Okay, so it's been about 10 minutes, and I've been walking around with a sock over the top of my foil just to make sure that it stayed put while I was still doing things, so that I wasn't just sitting there waiting. And now I'll just take this off and see how it's going. So it's just a gentle scraping motion, and that should peel back. If you've broken a seal properly, it should peel back the polish and get it off for you. There might be some little bits left, like on this one. Now, one of two things: I can either re-soak it, or I can just file it off because it's only a little bit left. We'll see how the others are. So I'm not scraping hard, it's just awkward doing this under a video on myself. But majority of it is coming off, which is good. This one I might soak again. So that could be that some air got to it because I was walking around doing some tidying up and emptying the dishwasher, and same as that one. So I may have shifted the pad so it wasn't working as effectively. So if you have the patience to sit and not doing anything, you'll probably get a better result. But like I said, and it also, and something else I should mention, it also depends on what was used on top of your nails. Different products will take different lengths of time to soak off. Generally, you'll get it starting to break down within 10 minutes. But sometimes you may need to work, to soak it, for a little bit longer. So what I can do with that is just lightly buff over the top. Again, that will just break the seal that little bit more. And then just re-wrap them. It should only take a couple more minutes, and it'll be all off. And it's a safe way of removing, my toenails are so long, it'll be a safe way of removing the product without damaging your nails. More so obviously for your, although toenails are still important, but fingernails, you want to just make sure that you allow the product to work so that it gets all that polish off, all that layer off, without doing any aggressive scraping or filing on a natural nail. So I'm going to re-wrap these, and I will come back when they're prepped and ready to go. Okay, so I now have all the product off. I've soaked it off. I just allowed another 5 minutes, and then I just scraped it, whatever was left over, off. And now I'm just going to prep my nails because I want to paint or put something else over my nails. I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. but I'm just going to use a little bit of our Soften It, which is a cuticle softener. So the idea is, it's called Soften It, massage that in and around the cuticle and surrounding skin, and then we'll leave that for 5 minutes so that it gives it time to work. And then we're going to remove any non-living tissue or anything that's stuck on the nail plate. So just massage it in and around as best you can. In the meantime, what you can do if you're going to be cutting your nails back is, or cutting your nails down, is do your cutting now whilst it's soaking in and working. So I'm going to cut mine short. I don't have to worry about doing them again for a while. Okay, and then I can come in and shape them. Toenails aren't the most attractive things in the world, but they always look better with a bit of gel polish or nail polish on them. So I'm just getting rid of any scratchy edges, filing them into shape, and now I'll give it a couple of minutes and wait for the Soften It to work, and then I'll be back to show you how that works. Okay, so ready to go with the small scoop end, and what you want to do is just run that around the cuticle and the side walls and just remove any non-living tissue that's stuck on the nail plate. So you can see the cream's really doing its thing. Okay, so we're pretty much right with cleaning up the cuticle area. Now I'll just soften it off with some cleanser. Okay, so now I just want to get my nail ready for polish. So I'm using the pattern side of the file, so that's the softer grit, just to run over the surface of my nail, or nails, to get a nice smooth surface and a nice even surface, and also to prepare my nails for a gel polish application or whatever I decide to do. Nail polish, obviously you wouldn't need to, but if I choose to do gel polish, then this is the way I would prep. Just make sure you get right into those sides and right around the cuticle area. Just move that lamp. And we're ready to go. So I'll just clean off the dust and the debris with some more cleanser. Make sure I get right in there and clean out around that cuticle area. There's a little bug flying around, it's driving me crazy. Okay, so a little trick, if you want to keep your toenails separated, just grab some tissue. This is a bit of gauze that I'm using, or like a gauze kind of pad. But if you do the same, you can do the same thing with the tissue. Just wrap it round. This one is a bit long, so I'll wrap it around twice. Or you can use double tissue if your toes tend to touch. Okay, and then I'm going to apply glass. Now, glass is our base and our top coat. So we're going to prep the nails with that first. So I'm just going to do 2 at a time. And then I'm going to snap freeze them. So this is basically just to stop it from moving, so that it doesn't run into your cuticles or anything. So you can just basically work through a couple of nails at a time. And just hold the light over them. And then once you've done all of them, you can cure it for the full 45 seconds. So you butt the polish up to the cuticle, but don't run it into the cuticle or the sides. Okay, so now that they're snap frozen, they're not going anywhere, I can just pop my toes in there, turn it on, and cure for the full 45 seconds. Okay, so I'm about to apply some colour. I'm going to use Moi. It's going to match this, and I'm going to end up doing all my nails like that because I really like that look. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to paint like 1 at a time and then snap freeze it. So I'll get my polish on, and I want to try and get a fairly solid finish because I'm only going to use 1 coat, or I'm only going to apply 1 coat because I'm going to be doing like a glitter over the top. So just for a couple of seconds, and then you don't have to worry about running anywhere. If you can, cap your free edge, you'll probably end up getting a little bit of paint over the edge. I'm just holding that light away from my bottle. It's actually a really good match for my fingernail, which is our overlay dust number 3. So I'm just removing, oops, too much. If you do have a little accident like that, like I just did, it's very easy just to grab some cleanser and just wipe it off and start again. That way you don't end up with, you know, this big dollop right in your cuticle area, which won't look that nice when it grows out. So just make sure you only pick up a little bit on your brush. So I'm trying to get like a little bit more of a solid coverage just on one coat. Normally I would do 2 coats and I wouldn't sort of fluff around too much with this coat. But because I want to just do the 1 coat, I'm just trying to get it a little bit more solid and cure. So now I can put it on for the full 45 seconds. So I'll just make sure I'm careful putting my toes in and cure. Okay, so I've got my 1 coat on, it's cured. Now, what I want to do is actually add a little bit of glitter flakes onto the nail. So I'm going to use Madonna. It's really pretty. They're like little flakes with almost like an aurora kind of effect. It changes in different lights. The colors change in different lights. So I'll start with my big toe. And I'm just applying a little bit of glass so that it's nice and sticky for the glitter to stick to. And then with my gel brush, I'm just going to grab some sticky. And I'm just going to place some of these flakes on my nail. So this just changes up the look of any polish, any color, because it's translucent. You can actually put it over the top of anything. Looks amazing over the top of dark colors as well. This is more of a subtle or softer look. Too much. Just get rid of that. So I'm using our ember brush to do this with. And there you go. So I'll do the same with all my nails. I don't know what I picked that up for. And I can even do like a bit of a matching effect on my fingernails, like as a feature nail or something. So I might show that in another video once I've done my overlay. So I'm just going to do a maintenance fill on my nails and change it all over to the number 3 overlay dust, and then I can do this as like a feature nail on 1 or 2 nails. So I'm not applying like too much except for there. Just a little bit here and there. And just tapping it onto the tacky layer. And then I'll park my toes under the light and cure for 45 seconds. Okay, so that's it. So I can remove this. They're nice and dry or cured. And I'll come in and just finish up with some cuticle oil. I've got a fluff on my pinky. Being a little bit more generous around my toes because they, you know, generally will cop up a little bit more of a beating, and they're always a little bit more dry, being your feet. And voila, your toenails are done. It's a really nice match for number 3. So there you go. That's how quick and easy it is to do your own toenails and to maintain them while you're pretty much at home. Okay, bye for now and stay safe, everyone.